Good evening, friends. How are you all doing tonight? Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. You might notice a couple of different things this evening. Oh no, you're out of frame a bit. There, let's get you back. Get you back in frame. There you are. Couple of different things this evening. One, man, is this colorful. Got new chair sponsored by Coca-Cola, which is pretty cool. They sent me 144 cans of Coke, and they will continue to do that every 4 months for the next 2 years. I do have to show the back of this chair at some point during the broadcast, which has the Coke logo. So I have a camera set up behind me, so you can see the Coca-Cola logo. So tons of color. Like there's blue and green going on in the background. Then I have like a rose hitting from the side over here. And then I have daylight balanced coming from over on this side, right? So there's just and then I have a bit of a fill light down here. Let's see if I just put my hand in front of it. I just felt like this shadow here, a little too deep. Let's lighten it up by having a little bit of a fill light there. So good evening, everybody. And I'm kidding about the Coke. Of course I'm kidding about the Coke, but yes, this is a hoodie. A hoodie that I have put over the seat. But I did do it for the color splash to kind of make the chair stand out from the blue background a little bit more. But cheers, everybody! If you have your cola or carbonated beverage or alcoholic beverage or jazz cabbage beverage, edible, whatever, bottoms up. Man, every time. No? Where is it? No. Where is my reaction hiccup? I'm supposed to have a reaction hiccup. You might also notice the focal length is a little different. Oh, look at this. I didn't notice this. It's the corner of my monitor is in frame. It's hard to tell because the same color as what's behind it. Who cares? And so the focal length on this, I'm using a different lens tonight. Went to 50 millimeter from 35 millimeter, which I know is fascinating for you all. It does mean that both of my primary cameras, the can sizes, no, I'm back to I was able to, for a while I wasn't able to get the 7.5 ounce cans. I was only able to get the 12 ounce, but now I'm back to the 7.5 ounce, which I prefer drastically. Anyway, so both of the main cameras that I have going now are basically at the same equivalent focal length. Yeah, well, this one's 50. This one's 42. But I'm using this one tonight. That's right. To highlight the Wheel of Misfortune. Negan's Wheel of Misfortune that I've had now for going on 4 years. And it looks it, honestly. I don't use it that much. But we're going to use it tonight to give a, well, I mean, $100 is really not much money, but to someone it could be. So somebody's name is going to be on that board, and I'm not going to do that thing where, you make people wait until the end. I'd like to do it relatively early. I don't want people hanging around just because they want $100. But yeah, so we'll do that in a little bit. Let me say hello to people real quick. Monkey. Butterfly Composer. Q, of course. Cawthon. Pavi. Hello, everybody. Slim, Thick, Skinny Queen. Thumbs down. Come on. I don't need that kind of help. I don't need that kind of encouragement. I get enough of it without it. I'm a curmudgeon. I go off on tangents and act like I'm a moralistic bastion when I frequently do not practice what I preach, and I get irritated easily. And I spent 2 hours last night, and then 2 hours a couple nights before that on stream talking about things that were making people jump ship like rats on Thesis's ship when the point was trying to be proven. Say, that annoyed me. Oh yeah, it annoyed me that in WandaVision they referenced Thesis's ship. That annoyed me. Ali Serendipity, hi. Xava, hello. You, Xava, asked me something. I forget what it was. Hextech Gunblade, one of the coolest names. Lisa Shobana is back. Hello. Lukimana. Lukimana with the avatar. That's not David Thewlis. That is crap. The guy from The Mouth of Madness. I love this guy. I don't remember. What's the name of this actor? Somebody fill me in. Space Age ASMR, how are you doing? Yeah, you caught on. Celine. Amy Myers, hello. You're doing that thing where you put the period and it makes it sound like you're angry. This is the state of communication today is such that if you don't have an exclamation mark or after what you say, people think you're mad. But if you put a period, oh my gosh, that is an indictment. That's not hello. That is hello. Or even more like hello. Like you put that period there and it just puts a whole different spin on it. Colorful Dreams, Art, Kidda. Good to see you again. This is the gang. This is the gang. All here. Not for the $100. I know it. I know not for the $100. My hiccup. Yeah. I feel strange. It's like when you have to sneeze and then you don't. And then you kind of feel unfulfilled. Kind of feel unsatisfied. Blue uvula, I guess you could call it. Oh, look. It is Scottish Undertones, formerly ASMR Muzz, in case those who may know him by that name. Thanks on the camera quality. Same cameras, Blackmagic, 4Ks. Use them for live streams. Cannot recommend them enough for live streams. I don't use them to record regular videos, but good to see you. Glad that you popped by. I agree with this, Amy, and this explains the period after your hello. So, there we go. It's not even an ounce. It's a fluid ounce. So we have ounces, which are different than fluid ounces, because ounces are simply a measure of weight. Oh. Slim, thick, skinny queen. The flip is particularly prominent. Well, as my hair gets longer, it's going to get more and more prominent until it goes away. So, yeah, probably for the next couple of months, you'll see it start to do this, and then eventually it will weigh itself down, or I'll get mad at it and I'll just put like a rubber band on it. Actually, I could use my in-ear monitors to tamp that down right now. Watch this. That didn't work quite as well as I thought, but it kind of works. As long as I don't tilt my head, as long as I just look straight into the camera and never see that. That looks ridiculous. That's, this is the reason you don't see me doing this, is because then you get that effect. Something like that. Nope. And you should be applauded, Cawthon, for watching the video last week. Now okay. Is that the same zombie mask in the movie Two Guns? I assume you're talking about the CFX mask behind that. Oh, my head is just going to be... This is horrible placement on that camera. I couldn't tell you if this is the same zombie mask that is used in Two Guns. I don't know the answer. It does have a brain flap that you can lift up. As most people who know me know, I got that mask for a collab with Femoral Rift and thought I was going to use it all the time. Oh, wait, no. I got it before that. I got it actually for a surgery video. And I thought I was going to be using it all the time. And I never used it again. Never. I used it. I did stuff to it. I used it to hold binaural mics. But I don't like wearing it. It's very thick silicone. It feels a little bit like you're being like just gently choked. Some people might like that, but certainly I don't. So, Dante Rosa, I can't tell you if it's the mask from the movie Two Guns, but I wouldn't be surprised because CFX, that's what they do. They make masks for movies. Howdy friends. Howdy friends. Ooh, MEB. Good to see you. Maddie, good to see you. Good to see all of you. I am glad to see you all. Did I? And Lukimana, I didn't know his name escaped me last time. In X-Ava, yes, it was. The movie about Franco, or about Unamuno, called something about Francisco Franco, the Spanish Civil War, which I have an interest in through Homage to Catalonia, of course, and through Unamuno. I can't tell if you're trolling me with that, Amy. I'm sorry. Just in case you're not, it's nothing to be sorry about. I'm just joshing, but maybe you are trolling me. I do not know. All right, I gotta catch back up. Well, you mean the appropriate use. How great, Q. Did I just start something? Should I not have said that? Goodness. I don't understand this. Is it slim, this skinny queen? Thick. Come on. Woo. Lexi KXO. Is this the same Lexi? I can't tell. Oh, look, I like this. Yes, of course. Xava jumping in, wondering if Lexi is Lexi. Lexi, or are you Lexi? Good evening, Olevi Oracle. Good to see you. Yeah, not into being choked. In any context, really. Here, this is the Lexi that we know. And Olevi, I'm glad that you like Legati. It's unfortunate that he's not very prolific. But what he writes, I very much enjoy. Songs of a Dead Dreamer, Grimscribe, Teatro Grotesco. I'm not sure exactly the pronunciation. Speaking of books, I would like to. We'll see how the night goes, right? But maybe, finally, oh my God, look at the color on it. With this, look up in this lighting, this book is even more beautiful. This might be the most beautiful book I've ever bought. Beautiful book I've ever bought. But getting to that chapter 2 of Master and Margarita, maybe. Well, why doesn't Nasha tell me herself? I'm acceptable. That's sweet. I like that. Watch this. Watch here. I'm gonna give you all a peek behind the screen real quick. Okay. So what I have, the look that I have set up right now, coming out of these cameras, only looks anything near what it does because of the lookup table that I'm using for it. And I have literally will sit here for like an hour, and I've sat here for many hours trying different lookup tables at different strengths with different combinations of lighting to find the one that I like best. And this is the one that I like best at the moment. It changes, and if you go back, several episodes, you can tell I'm using a different one there. But watch what happens when I remove it. Okay, so this is the image. What you're about to see is the image coming out of the Blackmagic camera with nothing applied and just the lights in the room. Here it goes. It's going away. It's gone. So this is actually what the image looks like. This is the film near log profile that comes out of the Blackmagic cameras. I think there's some contrast being added, but this is pretty close to it. So I'm using here a LUT called Northcote, which makes the blues pop. And most LUTs give you the shadow. I mean, this is a log to Rec 709 LUT. So there you go. Yes, Lexi. Yes, I'm, I think, mentally a bit more lit as well. And why is that? Oh my gosh, Lady Nerevar, good to see you. It's been a bit. I knew the money. I knew it. I was like, I bet you Lady Nerevar shows up tonight, because giving away money, that's how you know. So I'm a bit more lit as well, mentally, because it was 70 degrees out today, and it was sunny, and every break I could get from work, I went outside and took pictures. And my favorite picture that I took today, I'm going to share with you all right now. Spring has sprung, and with a macro lens, you too can take beautiful pictures in your backyard of dead caterpillars. Look at the, man, I mean, it looks like a bunch of sea urchins. Like the natural state of this caterpillar looks diseased. Like it does not look like it's supposed to look like that. It looks like I don't know the anatomy of caterpillars, so I don't know if that is that hole that doesn't really look natural. I don't know if that is an ear or not. But just like, those insectoid-looking, cockroachy-colored legs, the sort of sea urchins attached to it, and the hole that looks like a sort of infected wound that's never going to close up on its own. It's horrible and beautiful at the same time. Well, I love to share, but that's part of what I was doing today. Just walking around, listening to the audiobook by Derek Delgadio, who did, I don't know if y'all remember, you probably have seen, some of you have seen the televised version of the off-Broadway show he did called In and of Itself. He also wrote a book called A Moral Man. And I gotta say, so far, kind of sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just like a very pedestrian autobiography thus far. I'm guessing it's going to get more interesting. I'm only about 30% of the way through it, but I'm disappointed so far. I expected it to be like his show, to be kind of meta, and so far it's not. It's just like a very simple accounting of his life, which is just not. It's just not that interesting of a life. I'm not saying my life is more interesting, but then again, I wouldn't deign to write an autobiography about my life. Really, the caterpillar upset people? Yes, Scotch Undertones, I have this on my list. It is going to be a bumper year for cicadas this year. So every few years, right? Like it's not, they say like, I believe it is the life cycle of the cicada is such that they will come out after 17 years, but it's not just that every 17 years we have one. Like we had one a few years ago that was pretty significant. Mostly it's just loud. And then you have a whole bunch of cicada exoskeletons attached to branches and trunks of trees. Amy is talking about something here. What was written in 1983? Let's see. Oh, Lost in the Cosmos. I don't know it. I'll have to check it out. Talking about languages, French is easy, German is hard. German is hard in more than one way. Alexander the Great spoke German to his horse. Is it worth watching in and of itself? Yes, absolutely. I endorse that wholeheartedly. Is it worth reading A Moral Man? Ask me next week. I cannot say at the moment. I just don't know. Oh yeah, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'm sorry that this was disgusting, that you all find a caterpillar so disgusting. Very sorry about that. So one of the things I also want to talk about tonight, and in fact, the title of this episode 29, by the way, right? Oh, let me throw this up while I'm talking about this. So if y'all have anything you want to talk about, it doesn't have to be adhere to any rule book or standard or anything like that. If you have something that you would like to chat about or ask, or just want to steer the discussion in a certain way, email this right here. Here, I'll do this so that kind of highlights it nicely. But yeah, so obviously that's a line from the Road Doll song from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Spring is here. Time is going by. I'm convinced, nobody can convince me otherwise, that time is actually passing more quickly as time goes on. I'm convinced there's some sort of time compression going on, and it's not my subjective view of time that's changing. I'm sure it's an objective shortening of the distance between seconds. There's no other explanation. I won't entertain any other explanation. I've closed my mind to the possibility that it is a subjective interpretation of the passing of time. It's just going by so fast. So fast. Now, most of you, in fact, I would dare to say all of you are younger than I. I'm 48. I'll be 49 in September. This means I will be 50 in a little less than a year. It just blows my mind. Like, thinking about that blows my mind. Thinking that the year is 2021 blows my mind. Thinking that movies that came out in 2011 are a decade old. Like, you can't even, the past decade went by so quickly. So quickly. Y'all, if you 20-somethings, y'all are going to blink and you're going to be 40. Like, you're going to blink and you'll be 40. And once you're 40, shit just doesn't matter anymore. So, yeah, and maybe, you could look at it two ways, one of two ways. The pandemic, how do we evaluate how time feels post facto, post tiempo? If it's by the number of things that we do, right? So if you're a very busy person, in theory, maybe you would think time would go faster, but then you would also have a large collection of memories to look back on and evaluate time in a more sort of contemplative and experience-filled way. So if it's true that the more significant memories you make, the longer your perception of time is, then obviously in the pandemic, everyone would feel like 2020 sort of whizzed by. But then again, if you're stuck in your house and you have nothing to do, in the short term, it can seem like time is going by really slowly. However, still, next thing you know, you look up and then it's 2021 and you don't have a whole lot of memories of 2020 that are significantly different than others. So as your brain kind of goes through your own personal sort of mental autobiography of your own life, and it chooses what to keep and what to discard, it might discard a very large proportion of the events that happened in 2020. And so in retrospect, maybe while going through it seemed like it was taking a long time. In retrospect, it went very quickly. Um, you know, time is weird. I think I think we can just say time is weird, and that pretty much covers it. And that's what goes in the textbooks. Time, weird. JM, hello. You're late, but you're not late. I mean, we just started, so really nothing has been said. Oh, Levy, this is the year of the locusts. Yeah, there's been quite the plague. And we talked about this, I think, before, last week or the week before. Apparently, the reason that these plagues are caused by climate change is in part because the natural food for locusts, like the areas in which locusts can feed, those areas are shrinking. You might think, well, if the areas where locusts can feed are shrinking, then we should have fewer locusts. But at least in the short term, what it means is that they're they more like develop cities around these smaller isolated patches of food that they have, and they therefore reproduce much, much quicker because they're in much closer proximity. Hey, by the way, for those of you in the U.S., Merrick Garland is confirmed Attorney General of the U.S. And for those of you who don't know who Merrick Garland is or why that's significant, Merrick Garland was put forth to fill a vacant Supreme Court seat in the last year of Obama's presidency. Not a month before the election, not 4 months before the election, not 6 months before the election. It was more like almost a full year before the election. And in his infinite wisdom, Mitch McConnell refused to have hearings to confirm Merrick Garland, saying that the incoming president should instead be the one to have select the next Supreme Court justice. And he also said that were the tables turned, he would do the same thing. And then, of course, while Trump was in power, and a month, not even 2 months before the election, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed. It's a very sad day for everybody. Amy Coney Barrett was nominated to replace her, and she was confirmed like that in one of a seeming plethora of little hypocrisy. It's not even a little hypocrisy. That is a huge hypocrisy. It's arguable in the American political system, the most power that the executive branch wields is the ability to appoint the judicial branch, supreme justices and non-supreme justices, for life. Because presidents come and go, Supreme Court justices come and go at a much slower rate. And we're seeing the effects of that now. Trump confirmed 3 Supreme Court justices. It's unheard of. The last time that happened, I think, was it Clinton? And he did it in 4 years. When's the last time that happened in 4 years? Crazy. And a little selfish, I think, of Ruth Bader Ginsburg not to hold on longer. How dare she? That's a joke. Probably not. Probably a too soon joke, really. But yeah. So unfortunately, so the situation we find ourselves in now is that Merrick Garland, who was supposedly, probably thought, and had every reason to believe that he was going to be on the Supreme Court, is now the Attorney General. So the Attorney General does a great job. It's a powerful job, but it is an a politically ephemeral job, right? So it is not like being on the Supreme Court. That's it. I'm holding this thing for the remainder of the evening. Oh, shit. No. It does it. Does that frequency come through? Are you all hearing that? It's pretty high pitched. I think it would. Oh, I love these things even more now. So, in my mind, I play a little game. Maybe you could play it too. If I were Merrick Garland, who would I unfairly prosecute? I guess I just picture, who do I picture? Who do I picture? Do I picture this guy sitting in his lonely Mar-a-Lago post-CPAC residence? Like he literally lives at his country club now. Maybe, the Supreme Court that, in spite of the fact that he loaded it, voted to allow his tax returns to be used by, I think it was the state of New York case against him. And now the Attorney General of the United States has a bit of a, has a little bit of like, he's got to be a just guy. He's got to be unbiased. He's got to be fair. But how could he not? Now this, I could see how this would gross people out. Right? I got to bring this one up. If I'd brought the other one up. I can't see how he wouldn't have a bug in his bonnet. That's how I'm going to phrase it. I think Merrick Garland is going to have a bug in his bonnet about certain things. And no, I guess I can't. I've got to look. Yeah. We have to be equitable. We have to set the example, right? We can't just choose revenge because it feels good, even though, man, it would feel good. I don't know. If I were Merrick Garland, would I what? Ooh. Scottish undertones. Thousands of flying ants. Oh boy. Yikes. Chuckleheads. Isn't that what? Oh no, that's Ditto heads. That's what Rush Limbaugh's fanatics were called. All right, I was yammering about stuff. Yeah, well, Amy, I'm older. Yeah, not surprised. Enjoy 39, Pavi. Actually, 40 didn't really hit me. 41 kind of did. I remember that. Oh, good evening, Chels. I didn't see you before, but it's good to see you. And no, I think time is just objectively going faster. I won't be convinced otherwise. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Gray hair is dope. Balding is crap. I don't agree. Depends on the shape of your head. I think that balding, if you have a good bald head, if you have Bruce Willis's head, you don't want hair. Have you seen Bruce Willis when he had hair? He looks better without hair. So if you have a nice symmetrical head, then, oh my God, Amy, solid gold. Solid gold. You got the theme tune in my head now. And the solid gold dancers. Yeah, well, Chels, look, I had gray hair when I was like 20. I had like a gray hair. But then, I just didn't get a lot more of them until I got significantly older. This is very Buddhist of you. I wish that I had that kind. I wish I had that kind of outlook. They did him dirty. I guess I'm just wondering if he's carrying any of that anger along with him. Yeah, right? It's such blatant hypocrisy. And the left is guilty of being hypocritical too, but that one was particularly just like, you couldn't have a more textbook case, because he was literally on record saying, I would do this exact same thing regardless of if the candidate was Republican or liberal. I don't even like to say Democrat. It's true, Kavanaugh. Like, remember Kavanaugh? Remember those hearings? When he was boofing on Skip and Chip and Biff? How embarrassing. Like, just to have that stuff dredged up. Really embarrassing. What exactly is this thing? This is so it's one of a bunch of, basically they're toys, they're tactile toys for people with autism. Oh, I got my first thumbs down. What did I do? What did I do? Why? It's because I'm talking politics? Is that why? Got a bee in his bonnet? Q is like, one day Q will, I'm sorry, Q, I'm sorry. Anyway, one day Q is going to let loose with this treasure trove of embarrassing things. There's enough there. I've done enough embarrassing things. And Trump, he wouldn't accept it, right? Nothing but the lead. Nothing but the lead. Lady Nerevar, I certainly never noticed the 5 head. Oh, hello, Nick. Hello, Grace. Garrow. Has anyone emailed in who wants to have a little chat? Q, you're not allowed to leave for a bio break. You're on duty. It was Trump. Trump gave me the thumbs down. I would wear that as such a badge of honor. That would be amazing, fantastic, splendid. What do y'all think of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry? What's going on there? My God. Okay, let me check. Let me check my email. The only criteria is, right, gotta have hold on a second here. Oh, HelloFresh turned me down. What a bummer. So as long as you have something you want to talk about, that's really the only pretext. The only prerequisite. I mean, don't we know that it was Prince Charles? Don't we know that? Isn't that like kind of just assumed that that's who it was? This was great. So, Charles, yeah, so Piers Morgan on his own show, Good Morning Britain, flipped out, and apparently Meghan Markle actually called in to complain about him, and then he quit. Oh, we have somebody. Let's see here. A new person? I think this is a new person. Just need to be able to see my interview window. To think there was a time I was worried about running out of hours. I mean, isn't it just sort of like nobody's saying that it was Prince Charles, but isn't everybody just sort of like, yeah, man, that was definitely Prince Charles. Well, it was specifically, so Harry specifically said it was not the Queen. Does that mean that it wasn't the Queen? I don't know, but Q, you emailed in? No, you didn't. Why would you fib? I only got one. And it wasn't from either of you. Oh, there you are. In a different tab. Okay. Yes. I will be responding to you as well. I did send one out to somebody who I believe has not spoken before. And they just called in. So let's do them first. And then we will get to Q and Lady Nerevar if you still want. But I want to welcome on to the show. I don't know. I'm just going to call him Spaceman because that is what is being shown as his name here in the green room. So let's give and it's Space Age ASMR is I believe the name of the channel. But so this is Spaceman.
How's it going, Sailor?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing? Look at this. I can hear you. I can see you. And you're a little low in the frame, but I'm assuming you're using a webcam. Is that?
Yeah, that's right.
Believe me, that's perfectly fine. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. It's been a crazy past couple of weeks. I think I sent you an email a couple weeks ago. Just missed it for whatever reason, and then so I'm in Texas myself. So the following week was the big Texas ice storms, and I lost all power a couple of days later, after shivering in the cold, lost water, and lucky enough was able to stay at a friend's place who wasn't affected until I got it back about a week later.
A week.
Yeah, so Monday, I went out Monday I remember at 2 a.m. because my home alarm started beeping and woke me up because I had no power left. And then I came back Friday afternoon.
Wow.
So almost a full week there.
And was there any permanent damage to your house as a result?
No, luckily enough, we were able to like put the wrappings around our pipes and such. We do advance notice of that. We have a fairly new house, so I believe it was insulated pretty well. So no lasting or permanent damage.
So for a full week, you had to live at a friend's.
Well, a couple days. The first 2 days, we just were at our place, and it was 50 degrees in the house, which I'm sure for a lot of folks that's not too cold. But being from Texas, a little chilly. So.
And who in Texas was prepared for that, right? Like, I wouldn't think most Texans have space heaters, like, all over the place, you know. Well, you didn't have power, right, or generators, right?
No.
So I have to say, of course, you know, that I'm from Miami. So at the very least, right, like, we're used to hurricanes, so generally most people down there will have a generator, even if it's a small one, you know, a small portable generator, or they'll know somebody who has one. So when the power goes out for half the state or a quarter of the state or whatever it is, there's at least like a little bit of that built-in preparation. But I would imagine that was not there at all for the majority. Maybe, you know, like Corpus Christi or, you know, the coastal area of Texas maybe. But for the majority of Texas, I would think most people just would never have thought about like needing to deal with that.
Yeah, it never crossed my mind. Never thought it was going to happen until it does. And then it hit. So yeah, we were in the cold for a couple of days. And then on Wednesday, we lost water as well.
Yeah,
so that's when we're like, we can't.
Oh, that's when you
stay
left.
Here.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and then Wednesday night, Thursday night at a friend's place. I believe only folks who were on a like a protected part of the grid, like maybe they live near like a fire department or something else that's important. They didn't have their power and water shut off, so we were able to stay there for a couple of nights, thankfully.
It's actually like a selling point for some places. So in 1992, Hurricane Andrew like destroyed a lot of South Miami, and at that time I was living there, and literally went through the eye. The eye passed directly over where I lived. You know, windows were broken. Everything was there. My girlfriend, who became my wife, her house was a 2-story house when the hurricane came, and was a 1-story house after it passed over. There were people who didn't have power for months, who were like much further away and didn't have a lot of damage. But because I happened to be on the same block as a Publix, which is a regional grocery store, and because I was on that block, I got power back in a week. So people were like, "Oh my God, you were right where the storm went over, and you know we were 50 miles away, and we still don't have power a month later. You're never going to get power." But we got power back relatively quickly. But it's all like luck of the draw. But I would almost think like now, that would be a selling point for homes. Like, you're on the special grid. You know, you're on a prioritized grid for if the power is ever out for any reason.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the best part about this story that I haven't said yet was that I have just switched jobs as well, and that was my first week at a new job.
What, was it a remote job or was it a job in Texas?
It is a remote job. I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I'm able to work fully from home.
But is the place you're working for somewhere in Texas?
Yes, yeah, they
Okay.
are.
So,
So my on Monday, that Monday when everything turned off, my very first meeting was with the IT team to get my new laptop all up on the network, and obviously couldn't do that. Um,
are you able to say what you do?
yeah, yeah, without going into specifics. So I have a job that is, I would say, perfect for ASMR, in that it's boring. I basically negotiate contracts. So to a lot of folks, that's incredibly boring with all the legalese in there. But so I am in a procurement position. Um, so
So you draw up contracts or you negotiate the contracts?
a little bit of both. Typically, there's a template that we start with, and depending on the needs, we adjust it. And then I'm not like a lawyer myself, but I work with a lot of the legal teams, and sort of I've just gained the ambient knowledge of
What
what all the
tort
legal
is that?
contracts are.
Tort law? Is that what that is?
I that's probably not quite in my realm. That's like if the contract goes bad and then needs to be negotiated between the lawyers. I'm just trying to prevent all that from happening in the first place. Um,
Ah, oh, okay.
so
So
I don't
you're
need to know that specific,
well,
but a
but
lot of it's
so you're saying that's perfect for ASMR because
I mean, a lot of people reading a contract would just put them to sleep, um, so easy. And I know sometimes, depending on what I'm reading there, your eyelids can get a bit droopy, and you can start feeling it for sure after reading 10 to 20 page contracts day after day. Um,
I would imagine this helps you a lot though, like in your day to day life, because people are always trying to trying to screw people, right? So and you can spot that stuff, I would guess, uh, pretty quickly and be like,
I
hey, I know this clause right here because I've seen it. um,
Exactly.
yeah.
I've definitely, like I'd say, I bought a house after I first got this job, and I was looking through the terms and conditions of the house, or um, just anything that I buy, really. But it's different when you're working for a company that actually has the leverage to make changes to the contracts. It's not like a major company is going to, change up the terms just for the average consumer there.
But at
But
least you're aware, right?
so I know how they'll be able to screw me over.
So your ASMR channel is called Space Age ASMR, is that right?
Space Age ASMR. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And
Ti-
forgive me, but can you tell me a little bit like about the kind of ASMR that you do, or
Yeah, absolutely. So most of my channel, and probably how it started as well, is gaming ASMR. I typically play different relaxing games. Um, I'm trying to look at some of my most recent games where um, play just a little bit of Cyberpunk. I maybe do quests or other uh, bits of the game that are more relaxing, or if there's a game that just I'm playing in the background environment just sounds so soothing and relaxing. I like to just take a stroll through the game. Actually have a series as well called like Can This Game Be ASMR? I've done games like Call of Duty. I'm like, can I make this game that's about
that's a
shooting
good
and killing
challenge.
people? Can I actually make it somehow relaxing? Um, some of the most popular ones on my channel are also sports videos. Like I do like March Madness brackets, or like sports drafts or mock drafts, just going over them.
But
Those are definitely
even
some.
those in an ASMR fashion.
Yeah, everything in the ASMR, relaxing, typically whispering, sometimes soft spoken,
I feel your voice is
fashion.
you have a very relaxing voice. Is this just like your normal voice or you?
Maybe I'm talking maybe like a little bit softer, but
Okay.
I'm definitely not one that gets loud or yells, any of that.
Yeah, because your voice
Um,
is, I'm calmed down a little bit just by having talked to you for a few minutes here, which is great for
I
me.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, even speaking about contracts, I think one of my videos I did at some point, I actually read through the Steam's EULA, the in-use
Oh
license
man.
agreement,
Yeah.
just for a solid hour, just reading all the contracting terms that put folks to sleep.
It,
Um, it it
d-
works.
do you have a game that you have done that was the best, that you feel like was the best suited for ASMR? Maybe not even necessarily like from uh, the point of view of watching the video, but maybe the game itself, right? Like,
Yeah. I think the best games are the ones that have no like pressure. If it's like a time pressure, some objectives. So the games I've found are the best are like the simulator type games, like
Edith
Euro Truck
Finch,
Simulator.
Gone Home, that kind
Oh,
of stuff.
or yeah, so I have actually played Edith Finch and Gone Home on my channel. Love both those games. I love the sort of short indie, sub 10-hour games. But the ones I was saying was like Euro Truck Simulator. You
Oh,
kind of
I'm sorry.
just drive around, or like House Flipper was a big one on my channel. You just go into a house and you can like clean it up and clean up all the trash and then purchase new item to the house and eventually you sell it.
I don't know
It's
this
just
game. House Flipper?
yeah, House Flipper. It's just it's easy to just go in there. You have like some overarching objective, but there's no time or instructions on how to do it. And if you want to spend 30 minutes painting a wall while whispering, no one's stopping you.
Would you say that House Flipper is a good game? Like apart from
Yeah,
you,
it's maybe a little bit basic in its gameplay options and such. I I played it for a little bit. Uh, one problem with myself though, I'm not great on games that are just super open-ended. Like
right,
let's say a Minecraft. Like
right.
when there's too much possibilities, I'm just not as creative. I like some objective to go in there and do something and get
I'm
the
the
daily
same
quest
way.
done.
Like, there are people who are like, I want an open sandbox world. I don't want any direction. I want options. I don't want linearity. I'm like, man, tell me a story, right? Like, tell me give me an objective. Don't make me create
Absolutely.
my own objective, right? Like, give me a little bit of something. Like, even if you're like, we're not going to tell you how to do it. At least tell me what to do, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I maybe had 10 episodes on that, and then I got to the point where it's just like kind of more houses over and over again, um, kind of repetitive after a point, but it's good for a bit, for
How
sure.
long have you been doing this?
I think I started my channel about 3, maybe 4 years ago now. Was it 2017?
I'm sure that I've
Yeah,
checked you out before, but I'm sorry, I got to check you out again.
no
Um,
problem. Yeah, I've definitely. I'm trying to remember when I first actually found your channel. Um, it had to be in one of your collaborations, um,
yeah, that tends to
likely
be,
with Rift.
yeah.
Um, I don't remember which. Maybe it was like the one of the zombie ones. I think it was like this Saturday delivery, Sunday. Well, I forget exactly what it was called, but yeah, I definitely appreciate all your videos as well. Definitely helps me sleep at nights. That's for sure.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. That's good to hear. And I'm glad that there wasn't any permanent damage done to your house. Um, although, I mean, what a nightmare. Like, what a pain. Um,
Yeah.
but everything's okay now.
Everything's good. I'm glad to finally be on this live stream. I actually just last night I wanted to kind of based off of watching you and your interactions on live streams, I decided to give it a shot and just did like a little live stream test. And I can see why you enjoy it so much. Just the interaction, the instant interaction with folks. Uh,
It's addicting.
yeah, I blinked once and I've been streaming for an hour, and it was just
Yeah.
rambling on. I was just like testing levels and trying to have my audio quality good, but not having like the hissing from my gaming computer over here.
And there's a little bit of like things don't have to be as good. People accept a slightly, a lower bar because it's a live stream, right? And but it's what you said there. It's the immediacy of, making a regular ASMR video. You have to render it, you have to wait, you have to upload it, and these
Mhm.
things can, depending on, if you're 4K or how slow your computer is or whatever, can take
Right.
a whole lot of time. Where once you start like thinking about it, you're like, oh, okay, I'm about to start this process, and maybe I'll get some satisfaction from it in 3 or 4 days if I actually finish it, if it comes out okay, once I've edited it, once I've rendered it, if I can get, these sounds that really, if they happened in a live stream, I wouldn't give them a second thought. But if I've recorded them and now I'm listening to them, I'm like, no, I could probably get that out. I can probably get this out. And it just ends up being like this endless cycle, or it's almost seeming like an endless cycle. Whereas live streaming, yeah, it just is what it is. And it's, for me, it's probably taken away some bandwidth from doing regular videos, because it scratches, in some ways, it scratches the same itch. Not in every way, right? But in some
Sure.
ways.
And for me, it's like seeing someone's comment that's like, oh, this really helped me sleep at night, or just like, oh, this was amazing, thank you, like that. That just makes me feel so happy and, energetic that I was able, some random guy in Texas, deciding to upload some videos that someone from around the world even is sleeping to. It's just, if you just say it like that, it sounds so strange and kind of weird, but it's amazing feeling.
It is. It's very cool, and it's what's more important than helping someone actually sleep? Like it's as much as people like take jabs at it and say like, what is this? Why are you whispering, like that kind of bullshit? To me, it seems like, well, I mean, this is actually a pretty important function that you're serving here.
Absolutely.
So yeah, more power to you, and I will definitely check out your channel. Um, uh, Although I think I might have before, now that I'm thinking about it, but I'm horrible at this, and I'm also like, I suck when it comes to like trying new ASMR. I tend to like watch the same fucking thing over and over again,
And
and
that's
I
kind
need
of
to.
like the point of ASMR, is like that, like repetitive sort of, almost like what's going to happen. It's like that calming effect. Like I've watched certain videos of yours countless times. I actually just started watching, or I finished watching Broadchurch now. I didn't even know about it until your video.
What did you think of the show?
I really liked it. I don't watch too many shows, especially not many British ones at that. But there's definitely something to be said about like the pacing and the structure. Season one itself was a great standalone sort of
Yes,
murder mystery aspect, that gets expanded upon later. I thought the other seasons were still overall good, uh, but
I was not a
season one
huge
was
fan
a
of season two,
masterpiece.
but
Hmm.
uh, I felt like it sort of undermined a bit of season one. Um, but season three, that it seems like it's kind of like True Detective, right? Like a great first season, crappy second season, in my opinion anyway. And then
Sure.
uh, the third season, it seemed like they listened to what people said and tried to, still didn't reach the height of season one, but got a lot closer.
Yeah, and from someone who doesn't know too many, the accents. When I first saw your Broadchurch video, I thought the accent was a little crazy until I actually saw David Tennant.
No, but
I'm
that
like,
accent
oh,
still was crazy. I did not. I didn't,
I it's awesome to try to take the risk and at least try to copy it, or come somewhat close at least. But actually, then watching that video, I'm like, oh wow, okay, his accent actually is, that's what I guess
he
a
does have
Scottish
a pretty
accent sounds
extreme
like.
accent. I don't know if it's always like that, but certainly in Broadchurch, it was pretty extreme.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yes,
that's a great show. I love it. If anyone hasn't seen it in the chat, you should check out Broadchurch. Um, but Spaceman, thank you for coming on and hanging out. And
absolutely,
everybody, please check out, it's Space Age ASMR, right? That's
correct.
all right. And yeah, I'll see you in chat or talk to you later.
Absolutely, yeah. I try to make these as much as I can, so I appreciate it. Great
That's
talking
awesome.
to you.
Thanks, man. Talk to you later.
Bye bye.
Okay, so before I move on to anybody else, I want to do the giveaway, because like I said, I didn't want to like hold that out as like a you got to stick around because I want to do this thing. So if you want to be included in this giveaway, you have to have a PayPal account. That's pretty much it. Got to have a PayPal account. And let's say if you just if you just can in text, if you can say, you guys are all probably like, well, you did this once before and it was kind of a mess. Surely you've cleaned up your act or devised a better system now. No, I have not. It's still going to be a mess. But so what? It'll be fun. So if you want to be part of the drawing for $100, just wired directly to your PayPal account, please text the word Basil. If you could, in comment, just say Basil. That would be great. And then I will collect those names. Of course I haven't refined it, Q. Of course not. It was actually a last second thing. I was like, you know what? I just want to do this again tonight. Literally like 2 hours ago. Maybe partially to make up for the fact that I didn't really have an agenda for the evening. All right, let's see. And now look what I'm doing here. I'm going to be... All right. Celine, you must be on a laggy connection because other people got it before. I don't have agenda, so give the money. Oh, Lisa, this is big of you. Look at that puppy on your shoulder. What type of dog is that? I hope that it's definitely not a cat. No, yeah, it's a dog. Let's see. Wait, what? What is this? What that I was hating on UNICEF? What did I do? I don't know. That's it? That's all we got? Nobody else is going to give a Basil? Basil! That was my Sybil faulty. Basil! That show would not fly today. Okay, so give it like one more moment here just to be sure. No, nobody else. Okay, this is actually a pretty small pool. I want to be sure I have everybody. Forgive me. Let me put a little bit of a. Let me just give a little bit of a. I will do this one. While I do this, just to have some of this in the background. Okay. Emmy, Scottish, don't track me. Lukimana. KJ, Ellie. Space Age. Celine. Levy. Okay. All right. You want to hear that part of 4 a.m.? Oh, yeah. I should just play. See if I can get. There's multiple guitar parts there, obviously. Okay, so I have Q, Colorful Dreams, Emmy, Scottish Undertones, Don't Track Me Bro, Olevi, Celine, Lukimana, KJ, Ali, and Space Age. It's only 11. 11 people. Nobody else? Nobody else. Oh, good night, Chels. Thank you for coming by. All right. We're about to do it. So, of those 11 people, actually, we could do this like a, well, you know what? Let's, because it's 11, let's do, could those 11 people call either odd or even? Just say odd or even. So we can get it down to one spin of the old wheel. Bring this back. Odd or even. Just say odd or even. Is it unfashionable to bop around to my own music? Oh, but if you all do even, then okay. I still need, oh, Celine said odd. I said even. Okay. Now let's do this. Maybe we can do this in a way that. I'm going to roll a 20-sided die. This die right here. I cannot show you this part of it. So y'all will take me at my word. No, you know what? It has to be visual. Much better, of course. Odd or even? What's it going to be? You ready? Oh, round and round it goes. Where's it going to stop? Odd. So the odds have it, which, you know, a lot of people said even. Really, it's just, wow, there's only four people to choose between. The music is too loud. Okay, music is gone now. That's all right. I kind of meant for the music to be on for a little bit there. That's fine. So it's down to 4 of you. Let me do this. It's much easier if I just bring it over here. Q, Emmy, Celine, Lukimana, And apologies to those of you who said even. Q. Emmy. Celine. And my handwriting is horrible, but I know who I'm saying here. Oh, and look at this. We can just double up because there are 8 spaces. So here we go. Lukimana. Sorry, no, I just forgot. All right. So this is it. Everybody's name is on here twice. So we have the whole wheel covered. And I'm going to put my head right here when I spin it. And we're going to see what happens. Are y'all ready? The winner. Look at it go, look at it go, look at it go, look at it go. Emmy. Emmy won. Everybody say, congratulations to Emmy, or damn you, Emmy. That worked very well. See, that was fine. I like this Scottish undertones. In-person voting only. So Emmy B, you won. Would you like to call in, Emmy B? It'd be great. Lovely to have the winner talking to accept their prize. If not, that's fine. Just email your PayPal email address to this email address here, and I will do that immediately. All right, so where are we here? Got some more time. Let's see who is in the... That's right. Well, did Lady Nerevar go to bed? I don't know. Maybe, but let's see. I'm going to reply. There we go. Q, of course. Q. And oh, Emmy, you're too shy? Are you sure? Oh, good night. Here's some Scottish undertones. You were here for the money. Oh. So I went ahead and responded to the people who have emailed. But I'm just kidding. Have a good night, Mus. And please welcome. Well, I would love for the winner to call in. That would be great. And if the winner calls in, I will definitely speak to them. But the winner has not sent an email, and that's not part of that was not part of the original deal. I never said you had to accept your prize on camera, so I don't want to invent rules. Muzz was here to prove that the system was screwed up. Muzz was repressed. Ooh, Levy, a short story contest. That's a good idea. That's a great idea. I love that idea. and it could be as long or as short as you want, and we could read them out. That would be fantastic. I'm gonna steal that. Please welcome to the show the one and the only, the multi-talented, multifaceted, and multi-talented. Definitely does not have a 5 head. I don't know what they were talking about when they said they had a 5 head. One of the callers, they've called him before, and is one of the callers that has liquor in the shot, which is fine. I'm just saying, it's worth noting, maybe. Lady Nerevar.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Lady Nerevar. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm trying to see if I can see if the levels on the bottles behind you have gone down since the last time we spoke.
No, not these ones. No, I'm not drank out of those ones. Though I was talking about on a work call because they're in view there as well. And it's like, so how old are some of those? And it's like, well, wait to figure this one out. That
Reverse.
one there, yeah. Flor de Caña is a Nicaraguan rum, and the Japanese Nikko whiskey I got like 2 or 3 years ago when I was in Amsterdam. So probably maybe a little spicy to drink at
Yeah,
this point, but
it would have a little
it,
kick on the back.
yeah.
It looks like you're wearing new headphones. Are those different headphones?
No, same ones. I do have the lighting slightly different because now being somewhat basic, I'll turn the camera around.
Oh, maybe,
I now
yeah,
have an
maybe it's the
LED setup.
reflection
So
that I'm
yeah.
seeing. They look
Which
all like,
also my camera then tries to balance it out, so I
of
now am
course.
super bright until it eventually realizes
It'll take
that
a moment.
it's
Yeah,
not
it'll get it
steering.
back.
Yeah.
You can't override your auto exposure on the camera there?
Uh, if I
Not right
can, I
now,
don't
but I
know
just meant
how.
in general.
think.
What have you been up to, Lady Nerevar?
Um, just I guess the usual stuff. More voice acting things. I've been doing a really big deep dive in D&D stuff recently. And keeping up on a few fun space things that I've been talking to people about today. And most were like, yeah, okay, cool, but they're not on the same level of enthusiasm as I am. So
I saw it was a review of a new D&D book coming out called Candlekeep Mysteries, I think it was called. Are you familiar with that at all?
I think I've heard of it, but I've not seen much on it yet.
The premise sounded pretty interesting. So it's basically like it is a book that it's not a module in and of itself. It is a hardbound textbook that basically has a bunch of different scenarios about the locations of these different books, and
Okay.
describes, obviously, it does a lot of like what a module does, gives you the map. It kind of describes the characters that you might find along the way, but is much more open-ended. And those books themselves apparently like combine to form some greater mystery or something like that. It was a very positive review, and it made me want to get the book, which I have not felt that way about a Dungeons and Dragons I don't even know what you would call it, like an expansion book or
Supplement, I
something.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's set in, I believe it's set in Forgotten Realms, but I'm not even 100% sure of that. But it looked really neat. But you haven't heard it, so we
Yeah.
can't
I
discuss
think
that.
the last thing I got D&D wise that was new was Tasha's, what's it called again?
Oh, the
Is
Cauldron?
it Tasha's Cauldron? Yeah, the Cauldron of
Yeah,
Everything,
yeah.
which had a lot of really fun stuff in it, which I've been throwing at some of my players, including some puzzles. So I don't need to think. I can just like, all right, it tells me what the solution is. Just here you go. Here you guys go.
That was when I
Um,
was young. Um, Actually, I don't know that I have it here, but there were a bunch of unofficial Dungeons and Dragons com- companion books, and one was called Grimtooth's Traps, and that's all it was, and there was a Traps 2 as well, and the writer was Michael Stackpole, who I believe, yeah, who went on to, yeah, he's written like Star Wars and BattleTech books now.
oh wow.
a whole lot of Star Wars books: Rogue Squadron, X-Wing, I Jedi. Um, but anyway, yeah. So he was the author, and the idea was that there was this sadistic troll named Grimtooth who kept this sort of compendium of traps. And I remember I was very young. I started playing D&D when I was very young. I remember being like, oh, well, it says this. I don't know what the age was that it said on it, but it was something like ages 10 to 100, one of those things. And I was like, oh, I'm younger than this age. Like I shouldn't be playing this, but I am, right? I had that kind of feeling to it. But I remember when I got the traps book, it had 100 traps in it. And the very last page was the 101st trap, right? And the 101st trap was in Grimtooth's voice, uh, addressed to the dear reader, that Grimtooth had coated the last page of the book in a slow-acting poison, and that you've already, touched the page, and that you're going to suffer a horrible. And I remember reading that and just being like, that is genius. This is one of my first sort of exposures to meta storytelling in a book was Grimtooth's Traps, which was a D&D expansion. Which basically they took like Tomb of Horrors, which the module Tomb of Horrors is essentially just like, here's like 50
It's a
traps.
meat grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put it, different weird traps into this book. But anyway, yeah. So as far as expansions go, I don't know when the last time, I think it was like
Yeah.
5th edition is the last time I bought Dungeons and
Yeah,
Dragons
they're
books.
still going with 5th edition. Yeah, they're still going with it. I think I guess because it's what I've been doing since I first started doing like roleplay stuff, is I've always done homebrew. I've never done it set in like the preset modules or anything. So I'm currently reworking my old world building and redoing it and restarting the campaign. That's going to have a much more focused thing. So it's kind of all over the place. Like this race is going to be like Slavic inspiration. This race is going to be like Mongolian, and this race is going to be like Western Asia and like all that kind of thing. And now I'm trying to distill it down, get it all nice and cohesive and make sense. So I've currently only set on normal humans, because you always need to have like a baseline to compare everything to. And then a race that's I've culturally based on like Babylon, like Sumeria and Acadia and all that kind of thing. But in terms of looks, they're like a mix between you ever heard of like Pachyrhinosaurus?
No.
Or Pachycephalosaurus, sorry. It's like, have you ever watched Jurassic Park: The Lost World?
No.
Okay.
I've watched
So basically,
and read Jurassic Park, but never the sequels.
don't think it's in the first one, but basically they're like a dinosaur about as big as a person, but they've got like a really thick bone plate on the top of their head. And it's surmised either for defense or display, they would basically like lock down and ram heads against each other. Kind of like how sheep and stuff do and goats do.
Yeah.
And it was basically, it's the idea I've got for them is that like they're somewhat scaly and they've got these like thick bony crests. There's some that live more like bandits up in the mountains. There's some that are they've moved underground, but because they've been there for so long, they find it hard to see above ground. Their skin, well, their scales and all turn more white and sort of corally kind of. But they're also treated poorly by the rest of their race because they're seen as like dwellers of the underworld.
They're sounding a little like deep ones or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because one of the things I've seen constantly about drow is like they shouldn't have dark skin. They should be very, very pale. They live underground. So I want to take that into account when I made them.
What's the longest campaign you've run? Like, have you ever run one of those ones that lasts like a year or multiple years?
I think the longest has probably been at least several months. But that's also with like schedules and stuff, because there's me, my girlfriend, and a couple of friends that are in the UK, and then at the time there's a guy in Norway, a girl in Canada, and a guy in Australia, and we're having a balanced time. So it's either we're up super early or he's up super early in order to play.
Oh man, getting up super early I would imagine that would be a bit of a deterrent. So it's not really that the campaign lasted a long time. That was more like scheduling, right?
Yeah, basically. It'd be like once a week, maybe like once every 2 weeks, depending. Most of the times it was fine, but sometimes something would come up.
And do you use? I'm assuming you do voices, right? When you're,
Yeah,
of
of
course,
course.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that
it's
probably
always fun.
influences. I mean, you probably are. That's you're thinking about that as you're creating. I mean, you're creating entire cultures here, right? Like you're,
Mm.
um, which I mean, to me, like that's. I had this thing about D&D when I was younger, where it was like the the setup and the thinking about it and the working it out in my head. This is gonna sound horrible, but that part was always more fun to me than actually playing. Like I enjoyed the
I think,
pre-production more than the actual production, at least
yeah,
some of the time, um, which is kind of, well, I guess that's kind of sad because that's the part where you're on your own, right? And you're just kind of developing this
yeah.
stuff on your own. And then you got to involve other people, and that's just like, ugh.
I think that isn't as tough because you like come up with an idea like this is brilliant, this is absolutely genius, and then you put it in front of your players and they just like
They don't even
stomp
notice.
right through
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's like all the stuff that I've named. So like the race, like that dinosaur inspired race, I've called the Tiakur, which is a mix of Tiamat and Kor, which is like the underworld. So just like a mix of them, like sounds cool. And then you've got the Bilgamese Tiakur, which are like more regal, like Gilgamesh, because Bilgamese was like the original
does
version.
does Tiamat exist in this in the realm that
Not
you?
in my, well, technically yes, because
But
the
they are not like followers of Tiamat or anything.
yeah, no, it's the story I've come up with for this world is basically humanity evolved as normal, and then they kind of, if you ever played Kenshi or you're sort of familiar with Kenshi's lore of the game, then it's, yeah, I've kind of ripped that off a bit. Um,
I don't know.
Basically humanity evolved, and then high society came up with like loads of tech, spaceships, super advanced AI. Um, in my version of it anyway, AI figured out how to use magic, and then people learned from AI how to use magic, and then there was a bit of a fallout from that, and the world kind of went through an
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
apocalypse.
Hold on. AI. So
Mhm.
artificial intelligence systems
Intelligence,
figured
yes,
out real magic
real
before
magic, yes,
organic life did, and then organic
yes,
life learned magic from the artificial intelligence systems.
yes.
Oh, that's an interesting premise.
Yeah, I was just like, I think I got the idea from like there was a one-off like meme I saw somewhere. There's someone like doing like a just like a jokey world building thing. And it's like the computers have magic. How do the computers have magic? And I was like, that is a good idea. I need to use that. Um, so yeah, shit went wrong. World kind of ended, but humanity had also kind of dabbled in a bit of kind of mad science genetic engineering. So the Tiakur, that are like the dinosaur people, were actually genetically altered humans that were bred for a specific purpose, basically as like honor guard and like super soldiers and that kind of thing. Um, so now I'm trying to figure out other races that could fit into specific niches that then could go and exist and develop their own cultures afterwards when they're not being ruled over.
How long do you spend prepping? Would you say
Um,
like hours? Like not. I mean, because obviously maybe if you work on it a couple hours a week, then saying that months
it's,
doesn't
it
really mean.
it sort of fits in bursts, really. Like I'll have an idea before I go to bed, and I'm like, "That's amazing," and I'll just note it down. Like I've got like my own Discord of just myself. I've got different channels to dump stuff in. Um, so I think my latest ramblings are like, because maybe conscious effort only spend maybe a couple hours a week just thinking about it. Um, yeah, like what this was posted like near midnight. The Amodum Interregnum, an ancient building within the waste that displays horror to those who enter it, born from their experiences. And then just a bunch of images. Yeah, there's 23 satellite gods. Um, oh yeah, one idea that my girlfriend accidentally gave me was like trilobites are like super, like they like grow like minerals on them, and alone they're very dumb, but when they clump together, they can form like an intelligence
Hive
and
mind.
become like a nano. Yeah, so there's like one central one that's like the biggest clump that acts like a warlock patron and hand out power. So
Wow, that's really fascinating. I think that is really really cool. Do you ever use like once you've have you created campaign settings and then been like I got to do something more with this, and then like written stories about it or
I have I have a little bit. I do have a couple of short stories I've written, either for like character background or like something for a player to sort of help them get into it. I know one of my girlfriend's characters for a sci-fi campaign I ran, there was a short story I wrote about their backstory, which is basically they were like in like an elite mech unit in their army, but they were known for going a little kind of beyond the Call of Duty and like running into the back of enemy lines, and then eventually like a family friend who was the captain of the ship that was like leading the assault ended up having to fly in too close to give them cover and got shot down, and like a ship with like 3,000 odd people got killed and she got exiled for it. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's the backstory. Cool. Let me just write all the details so I can gut punch you later on.
So you get your players invested by whatever means necessary, with the explicit purpose of emotionally torturing them a little bit.
A little bit. Like, it's not always meant to torture them. I
You
mean,
got
there
to
was
make them feel
one.
something, right?
Yeah, yeah. You gotta either give them something to care about or give them something to like twist the knife a little bit.
I think that's brilliant. I wish that I had. I guess I don't know if it's time or what it is, but I wish. Yeah, no, I wish I had. You know what? I'm getting this Candlekeep Mysteries book. I don't care. Right, like I do have still a bunch of. I mean, I have tons of D&D books. They're just generally like second edition or first edition or, yeah, or like basic expert set. Not even advanced Dungeons and Dragons, just the original kind of Dungeons and Dragons. Well, it's all Thaco is still a thing in most of the books that I have. But I wish that I had the time and the patience to do that stuff still. Or maybe it's motivation. It might just be like a lack of motivation. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know, because normally I'll just have like an idea, like just bolt into my brain, like, yes, this is good. I'll write it down. And then to be honest, I don't really do too much more with it. I'm like, yeah, this is good, but like that building I mentioned that's like the horror and all that, like based on your experiences, that's somewhere in the world. I don't know where to put it, but I'll stick it in there somewhere. I've got a general idea. Like I've got a map, but there's a lot I still need to tweak and move and shift.
And
So
are the players that you play with, is that a rotating cast, or do you have like players who you can rely on to like, I mean, I don't want to say like, oh, take everything seriously, but at least be
yeah,
game, like, yeah.
yeah. So it's basically the same group of friends. I'm not. I'm not. I'm kind of not antisocial, but kind of nervous around people I don't really know that well. I'd find it a bit weird to join an RP game with people I
That does
don't
not come
know.
off here, at least. Like, it does not. You seem quite gregarious. Um, it's not really meant as a. I guess that's not a compliment or an insult. It's just like it doesn't seem. You don't seem nervous.
Yeah,
You know.
I think it's because like I don't know, because I've been on here a few times and I kind of know the people in chat now, sort of hanging out in all the different like live streams. It's like I kind of there's a familiarity that I'm used to now. Those are the first one I was on and was like, hi, how's it going? Um, so yeah. But like if I was just to walk up to a group of people like playing D&D, like, hey, can I join? I would not be able to do that. I would not.
As a player, maybe.
As a player, maybe. I guess it depends. Like, because I've heard some horror stories about other players and DMs that have mainly happened from people they didn't know and like joined a random game online that was looking for players.
Yeah.
So, ugh.
Let me ask you this: if we did like a short story competition, would you participate?
100%. I mean, I could either write a new one or I've got a couple short stories I've written that I could submit.
I mean, how would we know, right? You could say you just
Yeah.
wrote it, right? There'd be no way for us to.
Yeah, I can disarm myself of my strongest one because I have one that was actually published on our website a long time ago.
Oh, but then we'd be able to find it. We'd track it down.
True. Yeah, but like I wouldn't use it. I'd be like, yeah, here's this one. I think How I Wish, that's what it was called. How I Wish.
How I wish.
Oh, yeah, on Spelk Fiction, I think it was, or something like that. Let me find it. Spelk Fiction. How I Wish. Yeah. How I Wish Spelk Fiction.
There you
I
go.
feel like every time I come on here, I'm like plugging something else. Like, hey, I've got a YouTube channel. Hey, I write stories.
Hold on a second. May 18th, 2020, by Ashley Bell.
Yeah,
How I wish.
yeah, it was a long time ago.
I walked this land when I was just barely young, the winds taking their first whispering. I would not do that to you. I'm going to
It's
read
fine.
it.
Hey, if you want to read it out, I don't mind. I can roll with it.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've read over it many times, so I'm
Okay.
used to this story.
Oh man, I feel okay. I'm gonna. You're genuinely okay with it. I feel like I'm
Genuinely
pressuring
fine.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's all good.
How I wish I walked this land when. Sorry, hold on. I'm gonna have to mute you because the only way I can hear you is when I echo. So just like wave your hand or something if you want to get my attention.
Will do.
I walked this land when it was just barely young, the winds taking their first whispering breaths above a churning ocean of stone and dirt. Oh, how I wish you were there to see it, sister. How you would have wept, as I did, when the rains fell from on high and drenched the land in soothing water. Entire mountains washed away, and arid plains turned into vast, endless sapphire seas. Oh, how your breath would have been taken away, as mine was, when the skies twisted and bubbled and roared as the first storms broke, with lightning as furious as our father, and thunder just as loud. Oh, how you would have trembled and fell to your knees, akin to I, as the land heaved and toiled and rose above its ocean confines like a prisoner shattering their chains. Whole continents rose tall and proud above their watery cells, looming over their new domain. How I wish you could have seen it, brother, the settled lands now calm, springing to life like our garden in bloom. How your heart would burst with love, as mine did, seeing the first flowers and trees tenderly plying the new air and sky before them in a burst of color only befitting your paintings. How your skin would blaze and dance in the ecstasy of creation next to mine as we tread across a new Eden, the grass beneath our feet and the song of birds in our ears so much like your instruments. How I wish you all could have seen it, siblings. How proud you would feel, as I did, upon seeing the first people walk like us, and built in our image with graceful body and slender limb. Within temples of stone and painted glass, and towers to touch the stars of our home, they rejoiced in our name. How sorrowful you would feel, as I did, when they turned on one another, and ground their great cities and creations to nothing but dust and rubble. How beautiful it is, you would agree, the world before me. How I wish it could all be different, but only one of us was fit for this place. Wow. That was great.
Thank you.
I loved that. Oh, man. That was beautiful.
Thank you. I've not quite been able to capture that same essence in anything else I've written yet, but I try.
I would love to read anything else that you have that you're willing to share. That was fantastic. That was man. That like I'm a little bit misty eyed from reading that.
What?
That was really good. Okay. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're not allowed to submit that one though.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I'll write something new.
Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on or talk about?
Oh, I guess there is one thing that's very, very exciting that I read this morning. Space wise. Have you heard of the Alcubierre drive?
No.
Okay. So basically there was a Mexican astrophysicist who decided to sit down one day and was like, maybe the warp drive from Star Trek could be possible. And he like did all this complex math that I don't know, but basically figured out it would be technically possible to do the whole squishing space in front of you, expanding it behind you, and creating a fast and light engine. It would just require negative mass, which as far as we know is impossible. However, turns out if you take that field of like space squishing, contracting, and you flick it on and off like an LED turns on and off really quickly, you can cut down the energy cost by like 1,000-fold. So we've gone from needing an entire of our sun's solar masses as energy to just one entire Jupiter worth of energy, which is still a lot, still an insane amount of energy. But it's like instead of taking 1,000 gallons of fuel to get to town, it now only takes 1 gallon of fuel.
What
You
what
know,
what is this called again?
the Alcubierre drive. I'm not sure if it was just that specifically, but I know there was like a thing I saw. I
Can
glanced
you
over this
spell
morning
it
on
a little
Reddit.
bit? I don't even.
Alcubierre, Alcubierre, I think. So yeah, it's like when I read it, I was like, no way. Like it's getting closer and closer to being a possibility of warp drive and fast and light technology actually being possible, which is oh my, I mean, hey, I was nearly crying when there's a chance that there's life on Venus as well in the upper atmosphere, and
I'm sorry. Now I'm on Wikipedia reading about it. I'd never heard of that before. I've
it's
heard of the concept of obviously compressing
mm,
space and expanding space behind it, and sort of riding that wave of space time, right? But no, I'd never heard of that. Is it so? This is recent that this discovery was
yeah,
made.
I think it was at least a few years ago when I think it was first proposed, and then it took a while of like looking at it like, yeah, this is technically possible, but it's like possible in the same way you require something impossible to make it possible.
Right.
But now I think that there's like some people still putting work into it, that the theoretical is becoming more and
I
more
mean,
possible.
everything was impossible, right, at
Yeah.
one point, and the more steps that you take towards solving the problems of the impossible, the more eventually it may become not so
Yeah.
impossible.
It's like was it a year or two before the Wright brothers' first flight? There was an article in like the New York Times saying it'd be a million years before man flies, and then like a year or two later.
Although, we have been being told about flying cars we were supposed to have flying cars in 1972.
Yeah, but have you seen how people drive? Would you trust people with a flying car?
No,
I
I
don't trust them
absolutely
with
would
normal
not.
cars.
It is interesting though when you look at like the past depictions of future tech, and how much they got like something so wrong in both directions. They were way, way too ambitious in thinking how far we would explore, how much we would settle or colonize, and what we would find. But they were way, way too the opposite of ambitious when it came to like miniaturization and
Yeah,
the exponential growth of computers. And I mean, it's kind of silly like it's actually pretty funny when you look at stuff like shoot
I know.
when you look at Star Trek or things of that nature, or pretty much any sci-fi book, and a lot of like the methods of communication. And I wonder sometimes if this is just like, oh, they just didn't really think about that. But they don't have anything approaching the technology of an iPhone, like a first gen iPhone,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah,
have spaceships. Like if you watch 2001, right? Like they still are going into phone booths essentially to call home. In 2001, there's a scene where he's like going and picking up this big phone and like having to connect to an operator to get like it's just this whole big thing. And in the context of, I mean, you had Arthur C. Clarke, right, working on that. You had Stanley Kubrick working on that. Like I guess you would have thought like, hey, they probably would have thought about something. You would think that
yeah.
they would have caught that, but it's easy for somebody now to think that in
Yeah.
hindsight, of course. Yeah.
And plus, I think it's easier to like imagine all the crazy big stuff that could
Right.
happen
Yeah.
rather than like think of the little changes that then are like the big
Yeah.
changing factor in society.
Like we don't like what's a toilet gonna look like in 50
Oh
years?
yeah.
No, they never show those
Like
in films anyway, so there's no reason to
mm.
speculate about it. But yeah. Well, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to read up on that, Lady Nerevar, because I don't know anything about it. So if I were to speak about it, I would sound dumber than usual. So, um,
You don't sound dumb.
but I'll tell you, well, I have been watching a lot of interstellar reactions lately, and I live for the moment in those reaction videos where Matthew McConaughey is yelling "Murph, Murph" and crying into the Tesseract bookshelf. Uh, shoot. I don't want to spoil stuff. Yeah. Oh, fuck. I think I just spoiled stuff for people. Don't pay any attention to what I just said if you have not seen Interstellar. But anyway, thank you for calling in, Lady Nerevar. It's always
for
good to
having
see
me.
you. You have your forehead is like half the size of mine. What are you talking about?
No, it's pretty. I mean, have you seen this? It's pretty
Do you
big.
see this? Don't let's not get into like a battle of forehead.
Shit, I don't have a ruler or anything.
Do you
I
have
can't measure it.
calipers?
Damn it.
We need calipers.
I don't have anything to measure it with.
Well,
God damn it.
it's all about how you wear it anyway. So, and you wear it very well,
True.
regardless of its.
I used to have a fringe before lockdown hit, and then it's been just growing out and out and out. So I could just try and.
Can I
There
ask
we
you, is
go.
that why you had a fringe? Like, were you self-conscious about it?
Kinda, but I also wanted to try it just to see.
Uh,
People keep saying I look like my mom, and my mom has a fringe. So I thought, screw it, when I go all the way to see what happens.
How long? Can I see how long it is now? The fringe
Yeah,
part,
well,
where there was a fringe.
if I,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it's
wow, that's actually, yeah, that seems like about a year's. If it was a fringe,
Yeah.
that's about a year's growth, a little less than a year's growth, maybe. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to grow out my hair right now, and it's it's taking forever. It's annoying.
And the one sad thing is, I've like 3 or 4 times I've tried to get my hair like bleached because I want it like silver white, and it's been canceled every time because lockdown.
Oh, that'd be really cool though. The
I want
entire
it so
thing.
bad. Yeah, the whole thing.
Oh man.
It would need to be in like several stages where it'd be like a orangey like blonde, and then go like
Right.
lighter and
Yeah,
lighter,
you'd
so my
have
hair
to,
doesn't just
yeah.
fall off.
And you know what the thing is about that? That even would probably look cool as the roots grew out, because then you have dark kind of going to light, and it might even look
Yeah.
like balayage or some kind of intended silvery effect. Oh man, I hope that you're able to get that, because I want to see.
I hope so. I've been waiting like 2 years for it. God damn it.
Oh gosh. Well, I hope you're able to soon. And thank you very much for calling. It's always wonderful to talk to you. I always really enjoy
Thank
it.
you. It's great being here.
And I'm sorry you didn't win.
I didn't even enter. So
Oh,
it's
that's
fine.
right. You didn't know. You didn't.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good evening, Lady Nerevar.
You too.
All right. Bye. That was fun. Okay, so coming up on 2 hours here. Let's see. I have hidden this. Was there any other? Oh, I thought that was a really beautiful story. And it managed to, let me turn that down. It managed to convey a lot in a really small length of time. Whoops. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Sorry, went quiet there for a moment. Was figuring something out, but I loved how much that story was able to express in so few words. Because I'm generally guilty of word vomit, and for ASMR it works great. You know, the more words you have, the longer the video. So like editing is my enemy, but that was just I thought concise and beautiful. And guess who we have in the green room right now? I mean, you definitely know them, and you've seen them before, talked to them. Perhaps they've banned you, or done something like that if you're in the Discord. But it is, yes, of course, the letter after P. Q.
Okay. I have a request.
Okay.
Can I be the letter before R? Can you put that there?
Hold on.
Okay.
Is this going to update? There we go. You
Heck
are
yeah.
the letter before R. So I'm hearing me echo. I don't know if everybody else is hearing me echo.
Crap. Okay, let me turn down my audio. Is that better?
Yes, that's so much better. So much better.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that.
Yep.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm actually pretty good. Today was a pretty good day. Right
Yeah.
off the bat, I like the yellow and black on your jacket.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna like why it's yellow and black.
I know it's Bumblebee. It's got. Oh wait, Batman. Oh. Well,
Yeah.
well, whatever. I like Batman. All right, I guess. I mean, if I have to pick a superhero, I don't know. Actually, it would have been. I was really into Iron Man prior to Iron Man blowing up by having movies, but I always thought that Iron Man was cool. The Green Lantern, I like the Green Lantern quite a bit as well. But whatever, it works for you. Q, the letter
Yeah.
before R.
Yes.
So what's been going on? How's Discord behaving? How's your work? Has it calmed down? I assume it has somewhat.
Yeah, work is pretty much back to being pretty dead, because there aren't a million alarms going off in like Texas for gas compressors. We're back to the slow pace, which is fine. The Discord's been great. We had a hiccup and now it's fine. So
You've done so much work on that. I really I feel like I should be more involved. And I want to do stuff, I want to do either like game playing or movie watching or something like that.
yeah.
but-
Yeah, no, we can definitely plan that kind of stuff. We haven't, well, I guess like when the servers first started, we played some games, but we have some dedicated channels to set up game plans and play games. So easiest games to play would be like Jackbox Party Pack games, which there's just a variety of games for each pack. So how that would work is somebody would own them on Steam, and then they would stream their screen on Discord, and then everybody would watch, and then they could just watch it, but they could also be in the voice chat, and then all you need is a phone or your computer or whatever, and you open up a tab and you go to jackbox.tv and enter the room code.
And then everyone, how many players, like realistically, do these games support? Like generally?
Most Jackbox games cap out at like 8 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's something that we could like spread around or something, like do multiple rounds or do something like that.
Yeah, you could play, one game and then the next round have different people play.
Well, we'll have to discuss. I don't want to talk, I guess, too much. I brought it up. But we'll have to talk about this off stream. But
Yeah.
I'd love to set something like that up, or
Yeah, yeah.
even like even like watching a movie, like being able to do commentary, watching a movie with voice.
Yeah,
chat
we
or
could do
something
the
on
same thing where somebody just streams their screen and then everybody's in a voice chat,
That would be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah.
And
That's
man,
that's how I hang out with my friends over Discord. We watch movies and stuff like that.
I'm so
that's what we
late
do.
to the party on this stuff. I mean, this has been around a long time now. This is not like a recent thing, right? And I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I only got into Discord a couple years ago, and it's been around since like 2015.
You seem to know it very well, though.
Yeah, once I started using it consistently, I really got into it. It's pretty easy to use. I think it's pretty user friendly. There's a lot you can do.
So I'm pretty sure everybody who's here right now is already on the Discord. Oh, and good night, Lady Nerevar. Thank you again for everything.
Good night, lady. Let me drop the Discord link real quick.
Oh, that'd be awesome, because I never.
Yeah.
I never have it. Isra Khan, Discord. Um, cute letter before. Could you give, for someone who doesn't know what Discord is, could you give it like a elevator pitch?
Yeah, so Discord, it's kind of like, if you're familiar with Reddit, it's like if Reddit was crossbred with like Messenger or some other chat app, where it's live chatting, but everything can be sectioned out into channels, and then people can be assigned specific roles, and it can be very organized.
But apparently it has like multimedia capabilities, right? So it's
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is wonderful.
that's fairly new, but yeah.
Do you know what this like Nitro Boost stuff is? Is that something that's worth? I know it's like you have to pay a monthly fee or something like that, but if it's worth it, if it gives.
Okay, are you talking about Discord Nitro, or are you just talking about Nitro Boosts? Like Nitro Boosts for the server?
What's it? So maybe both. What is
So
Discord
if you-
Nitro? I just know
Yeah,
I see an ad for it. Like when I go in, it says like, "Hey, get this," and I thought it was Discord Nitro, or maybe it was Nitro Boost. But it was a certain amount of money, like a month or
Yes.
something.
So Discord Nitro is like premium Discord. And it basically just allows you to customize things more, but it also comes with Nitro Boosts, and you can boost a server with a Nitro Boost. I think you get like one a month or something. And basically, if the reason you would want to do that is if a server gets boosted, enough times by enough people, they get access to like more spaces to have custom emotes and things like that. So I wouldn't pay for Discord Nitro.
You don't think it's worth it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not for me. It's like $13 a month. I don't know.
Wow.
Kinda-
Okay.
Kind
Just
of
for
expensive for what
emotes.
you get. Well, I mean that's not all it's for, but yeah, it's just it's for somebody that's on Discord like all the time.
Yeah, if it's not a significant improvement, I actually thought it was something that you purchased for the channel. I didn't realize it was something that was purchased like per user, right?
Yeah, it's just for yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's good. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So, what else is going on with you? How is life in general?
Life's okay. My life is not very interesting. Not a lot happens, but it's kind of by design. So
That's the way that you like
fine
it.
with me. Yeah, I try to live a fairly stress-free life.
Man,
For the
that's
sake of my brain.
yeah. That's the sane way to go. And I know that we've talked before, and I know that you've been through periods where it was very difficult and stressful, right? So I could see where you would want
Yeah.
to be, kind of just be in a like even if it's well. I mean, I don't want to assume that you are a happy person, right? Generally, I'm not like a happy person generally, but at least be in like a sort of stable place, right? Even if you're like maybe
Yeah,
not.
contentment.
Yeah,
That's-
I guess that's maybe the most that a lot of us can hope for, really, because
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a certain mindset about the world, it might be difficult to ever be like, "Yay, I'm super happy."
Yeah, no, I'm not a super happy person, but that's okay. I'm just a chill person. I like to think.
I think so too. I think you're very chill, and you've been like, apart from you do make fun of me a lot.
I would say that the standard is Nasha, and I don't think I ever hit.
You don't hit Nasha levels.
I don't think I do. I
I-
don't heckle you nearly
I probably
that much.
agree, but whenever I see like on Discord, whenever I see that I've been added or something, I'm like, "Uh-oh, what is this now?" And then I'll go. And see.
When do I at you? Never.
Well, maybe you don't, but then like somebody will see something that maybe you did, and then they will add me. So, for instance, like isolating Wonderwall, that was
Yes.
yeah. You didn't have to do that.
I no, I didn't. But I thought, you know,
No,
maybe people stop asking you to play it.
well, yeah, and actually, that doing it that time, I was surprised that I was even able to get through it because I don't actually know it that well. So I think I just got lucky that I didn't screw up the chords when I got through it that time. So it was actually probably a good moment to capture if that's something that you wanted, which I don't know why people would, but yeah, as we mentioned before, uh, I fear you have this treasure trove of stuff that you could just like unleash, and it would be like, look at all this, and it would be just a bunch of things that I would cringe at, and not like in a not in a hurtful way or anything like that, but just more like oh gosh, I was kind of wishing maybe people would have forgotten about that. I see people are talking
Yeah,
about
no.
Money Heist. Money Heist is good. I had a
I
problem
haven't
with the
seen it.
name Money Heist. 'Cause
Yeah,
it
I do
seemed-
too. I think it's a weird name.
It's just bizarre because, yeah, that's what you steal. You steal money, right? So you don't need to it just be a heist. Um,
Well, that I guess that wouldn't be a very good name either.
no, but The Heist, right? There's definitely been a movie called The Heist, but Money Heist just feels like, silly to me. Um,
Yeah.
so is there anything else? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to?
Yeah, first, Xava, thank you for saying you like my avatar. Thank you. Um,
Do you have a
Okay.
new avatar? Sorry.
I do.
Where-
I'm not sure if you hate it or not.
Oh, it's me though.
Yeah. But, you're not a cat boy, so it's fine.
It is a step up from the cat boy.
Yeah, I have something to show you that I found.
Okay.
I
So,
don't intend to embarrass you with it. I
have a
don't know
good
if you'll be
evening, and
embarrassed.
we'll talk later. And
But
Oh,
I
gosh.
found this.
oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
got a physical copy of that?
Yeah, I cannot believe I found this because I was like, oh, I'll just look. I found it, and then I was like, how hard is this to find? You can't find this.
So just for
can't
some
find this.
context, before you go any further, if I could,
Yeah.
in the '90s, in sort of in the mid to late '90s, I was in a folk, I guess, kind of progressive folk band
I can't see
called "A
this.
Kite Is a Victim," and the name was taken from a Leonard Cohen song, and we played like. This is when I was also in like rock bands and other, I was in a couple of bands at the time. But with this band, we would play bookstores, and this is the band in which I like sort of was able to, I felt like, exercise a lot of finger picking and like acoustic guitar stuff. And we recorded this CD that you have before you. And it was a very long process to record, and we got like stringed instruments to come in, students from the University of Miami to come in to record like a quartet, and there was a whole lot that was not driven by me, but more driven by the singer in that band, because he owned the little record company called Space Cadet Records, which was
Yeah.
in Miami at the time. So, yeah, and he and his brother they were both kind of visual artists as well, and so they made these custom sort of sleeves. I cannot believe that you got one of those. I don't have one of those.
Yeah, no, I can't believe I found this. And it's, yeah, the art is very, like, the whole thing is just very intricate, and you will not believe this, but the feather is still glued on the
The
back.
actual feather. I remember
This is the
going
actual feather.
in and gluing feathers. Like that was something that we did. We did like a run of, I don't know, 300 or 500 of them for the first. And basically it was like, okay, all hands on deck. Everyone's coming in. We got to like splatter paint on stuff. We got to glue feathers. We got to like, that was something that we as a group like went in and did for a couple of nights over a weekend or whatever to get that done, that kind of custom packaging done.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
can't believe the feather is still intact.
I'm shocked that feather is still on there. So it's a
Yeah.
CD called Home, I think is what we ended up
Yeah, it's
calling
home.
it. And it's
Yeah,
got
I got.
some embarrassing pictures of that. Picture is so that's out in the Redlands of Miami, where whenever it would rain, you would just get like these, people using these. There were areas where there weren't roads, and you would just get these dirt roads that would kind of get flooded. And I don't remember if I took that picture or not. I don't think I did, but I actually think it's a pretty neat picture. But yeah. Can you open it? Is there?
Yeah. Let me.
Oh my god! Like I want to see this because I haven't.
So here we go.
Oh yeah, I know that picture. Yes,
Yep, here's the CD.
it's got the feather on the CD as well. Yeah,
Yep, and then there's like the textured writing.
yeah. So the guy leaning against the post there, Al, he was the sort of ringleader and sort of owned the small record company, and that's me off all the way to the viewer
Right here.
left in the back,
Right here. Yeah.
wearing
Yeah, you look brooding as always. You
yeah,
can't
we
really
were
tell.
all wearing, jackets and overcoats and long sleeve shirts and pants, even though it was 98 degrees out at least,
Yeah.
because that was the look that we were going for. But we were in Miami, so
Yeah.
that's incredible that you were. So I'm assuming you got that off eBay.
Yeah, I found it on eBay.
Please tell
It
me
shipped here.
you didn't
Huh.
pay more than $10 for it.
No, it was $5. Free shipping. Yeah.
That's about
I
right.
could not believe it. And this shipped here from Miami.
You're kidding me.
No, it's from Miami. It's from like a thrift shop in Miami that lists stuff on eBay.
It must have cost $3 or $4 to send it.
Free shipping? I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, pretty incredible.
Well, oh yeah, that back
Here's-
picture.
Here's this other picture.
Oh, I think yeah, to be tilted there. Yeah, look at that. One of us is wearing a top hat. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was yeah, that's
the
me, the
sailor right
second
here.
one there. Wow. So this was like 23 years ago or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I have conflicting memories about that time. I enjoyed parts of it, and parts of it I did not enjoy. I ended up not getting along very well with the singer, I think. But
Yeah.
I did like some of the stuff that ended up being on there. I wish we had spent a little more time going to a more professional studio. I think he
Yeah.
wanted to have like unlimited time, so he did it at the Space Cadet Studio, which was a thrifty studio. Didn't have like access to
Yeah.
really great acoustics or instruments, so the sound is a little in places. But there's a lot of stuff on there, like a lot of textures. One might say it's over the top. But wow, that was a trip down memory lane seeing that.
Yeah. I can't believe I found it. I also gotta say I really love the beach
the
sand
Sand,
that's
yeah.
glued in there.
Yeah, so
Like, that's
I actually opened up the jewel cases, put like some, I don't know if it was like stick glue or something, and it's genuine Miami beach sand, somewhere
yeah,
from
that's
the beaches of Miami. I think there's even a lyric in there where we talk about Miami Beach specifically by name.
very hipster. I love it.
Yeah, you could play that anytime you want to hit bingo.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, Q.
Yeah, I can't track down any CD copies of Ed Mattis's Struggle.
Oh well.
You can't find that for love nor money, but
Nobody would be.
Not
Nobody
the
would.
CD.
Yeah, nobody would pay love. Nobody. Yeah, and originally it's funny. Like we put a bunch of that stuff on MySpace, and I was always like, well, it's on MySpace, so even if we lose it, at least it will just be on MySpace. But then, of course, all of the MySpace music disappeared. So there's a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff that's on there that's on MySpace, or that looks like it's on MySpace, but it isn't actually.
Yeah, that.
And I don't
no.
know where any of that stuff is really. Although I do have some of it on vinyl, I don't even have a record player with which to play said vinyl.
Yeah, I managed to track down somebody that archived South Florida bands in
Wow.
the 2000s, uploaded the CD. That's how I got a copy of it.
Wow.
And that's why I was like, well, I'll put this on YouTube.
Well, I appreciate seeing that, and I'm not even going to ask your opinion of the actual content, but
Well, I like all the music. It's all very like chill music. I can't really understand all of the lyrics, especially of like Ed Madison's Struggle.
yeah,
I'll be honest. I
Yeah.
can't tell. But it's chill music. I can vibe to it. You know?
you can vibe to it. Yeah, at that time,
Yeah.
the style was to bury the vocals, right? And sort of like
Yeah.
My Bloody Valentine kind of stuff, where it's just sort of like supposed to be more of like a wall of sound, not really having the singer front and center. I think the CD you have there, the singer very much put himself front and center. But yeah, it was cool being in a band where I wasn't singing and then in one where I was, because they were just sort of different. I felt very differently and could concentrate on different parts in those two different bands. So that was fun. And before that, it was all metal, right? Like I was in metal bands prior to that. So yeah, wow. I walked down memory lane, courtesy of Q. Thank you so much for showing that, Q.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
Elxie is saying you need to be a private investigator. You definitely have the knack.
Yeah. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, thank you for calling in, Q, and thank you for like everything that you always. I mean, you do so much that
Yeah. No.
I really, really appreciate it.
I do it for you and for everybody else.
It's
Hangs
very
out.
cool. Yeah. All right. I will see you. Well, I'll see you everywhere, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Take care,
Peace
Q.
out. Bye.
That was. It's funny that like sparked a whole lot of memories that I have about that time. Like just seeing that. There definitely was a feeling there for a few years that there was something special going on during the late 90s down there, where there was very much like this sense of a music scene. And there were bands that came out of there, like Dashboard Confessional ended up sort of coming out of that group. A little further north in Florida, bands like, this was more like West Palm Beach, like As Friends Rust and Culture. There were a bunch of hardcore bands, Shai Halud. Discount was a band where I think the singer went on to become the singer for The Kills. So there was like some stuff happening there that was interesting to be a part of, even admittedly sort of an ancillary part of. It was fun. So, okay, one more caller for the evening has been patiently waiting in the guest room, and I've had a problem saying their name. But let's see how their name should be. Welcome, Lukimana.
Yeah, it's Lukimana.
Wait a minute.
Greetings. Good evening.
Have I spoken to you before?
No, you haven't.
No?
I would be surprised.
Oh, okay. I for some reason I thought I recognized you, but I guess not. So Lukimana, is that actually?
Yes.
Well, that's the name you go by, right? That's
Yes.
okay.
Lukimana, however you want to call me.
Your sound is great. Sounds good. Looks good. You'd said,
Okay,
I think
perfect.
before or in the email that it might be there might be a problem, and I was curious what that might be. But everything sounds and looks
Uh,
good. So
Well, for once, my mic's working. It's a Blue Yeti, so I
hey,
splurge on that a little bit.
yeah. So where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Germany. It's currently 4 a.m. here, and I should be asleep actually. But
Crikey, 4 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty late. Can you say a little more where in Germany, or without being too specific?
right besides the Dutch, like I can look out of my window and I can probably spit on the Dutch border if I wanted to.
And would you want to spit on those?
Sometimes.
Do you? Is that an open border? Can you just cross that border whenever you want?
Yeah, it's Europe. Everywhere is an open border. I'm not so sure,
course.
like currently, because like we all know what's going on in the
Right.
world right now. But I can cross it if I want to, even yet.
To get chocolate
No.
or something. To get...
Yeah, of course, chocolate.
So, why did you stay up so late? What's burning on your mind? Is there anything you'd like to talk about or ask or?
Well, I work in IT, so it's usual for me to stay up late, even sometimes to this hour when I'm on vacation, which I am currently. Just relaxing, grinding away. Obviously, I like gaming, and I wanted to grind away some on my Switch, but then I saw you going live, and I thought I can never catch you live because time difference. So I stayed like the whole time, and when I saw you made call-in streams, and when I saw how comfy your viewers were, I thought, yeah, maybe I can call in as well.
That's really
maybe
cool.
talk to somebody that I know from YouTube, but you don't know me, and that's one of the things I want to kind of talk about. I think the term for it is a parasocial relationship. The gist of it is that when you're doing content like vlogs or something, and you're talking to the viewer and you're sharing stuff about your life. I just got to know you from Miami and all that stuff. That you did some music back then.
I'm from Miami. Yes. Just in case anybody doesn't know.
Well, I even saw it in the bingo just now from I think Q shared it. By the way, Q, cat boys are cute. So yeah. So you share stuff about yourself to the world, to your viewers, and we get to know you, but you don't get to know us. So when something like this happens, like a call-in stream, we feel like we know you, but you don't know us. How does it feel for you?
I first of all, I think that's an awesome question, Lukimana, and I have so many thoughts on the parasocial phenomenon, right? Not really like I don't really think about myself in that way at all, right? To me, this, especially like this stream, is just like a bunch of people who know each other. Like I feel like I know most of the people as well as I would any other group of online friends that I would have had in the past, regardless of if I had a channel or didn't have a channel or whatever. And I really enjoy that sense of community. I do feel like I want to be careful here. I do feel like people, especially ASMR creators, who position themselves and present themselves to people in a way that is inherently intimate. And by intimate, I don't mean sexual, but I mean, intimate as in like close. Like you don't, usually have somebody whispering in your ear unless you know them fairly well, or unless you're being held hostage somewhere, right? So there is this sort of cultivation of this artifice of closeness that there's the idea of like, you have YouTubers who are really well known and who are going out and like filming crazy stuff, and you're watching it and you're like, oh cool. That's very different than somebody who you're listening to when you fall asleep in moments where you feel vulnerable, where you feel like you might feel like you're letting this person in on more of yourself than you would somebody who is doing something that is not inherently intimate, right? And that requires, and I'm speaking from my point of view because obviously I listen to ASMR a lot. I don't listen to myself, right? I listen to other people, right? So it is like I experience this, and I notice sometimes that I feel like there are people who can, like, there's a certain amount of responsibility I think that you have to take because of that imbalance, especially, like I said, like with this kind of sort of intimate content. Again, not sexual, like that's a whole different ball of wax, right? Like once you get there, then it becomes even more, the delta's even more. But so I feel like I've run into a lot, whatever, I'll just alienate myself. I don't care. I run into, there's a lot of ASMR creators who, frankly, like mock people who form bonds with them, one-sided bonds with them. And some places and some of them who will even publicly mock people who feel like they have formed some sort of a relationship with them and be like, look at this person. They think that they know me. They think that they, who gives them the right? And it's almost this very indignant sort of response when a lot of that onus is, to me, on the content creator, and they should know what they're getting themselves into. And they should be respectful of the fact that, like, hey, if you're whispering in someone's ear every night could be years, for that person could very well develop a very real attachment to you. You're totally unaware of it, but that doesn't invalidate the attachment. And it doesn't, I feel like that, those things need to be broached with like a lot of care and a lot of respect, and certainly not ridicule or like trying to just dismiss somebody because, or be like cruel about it, because somebody formed this bond for you that you didn't feel back, or weren't even aware of. So, like, I think ASMR has that problem, maybe more than some other content on YouTube or anywhere really, because it is literally like it's trying to get as directly into your head as it can, right? So what was your question?
No, it's nice to hear you like rambling about, and it's interesting, honestly. But I do have to disagree in one point. I don't think that ASMR is more prone to those intimate relationships. Of course, how do you put it? Your voice gives me comfort. Like, honestly, I sometimes I do sleep to your voice, and it gives me a sense of calmness and relaxation, obviously. And right now, I felt that like when I was talking to you or just hearing you rambling, I felt like more calm. I wasn't as nervous and stuff. So it is a sense of intimacy, obviously in ASMR, but for others, like vloggers that share more about their personal life, there isn't that sense of intimacy, but more a feeling of a friend.
Right.
Which is maybe the same as, it's not the same as intimacy, but you can feel at least a real friendship forming there. You get to know them as if you're like basically their friends. They're Twitch streamers, for example. Look at their chat. They're talking to them as if they were your friends. So you're building up this relationship with them, and they don't know you personally. So I think every type of like content creation on the internet that's not like factual or formal does have this problem in any way, but yeah, not one section stronger.
I think you're right. Yeah, I guess the only differentiator I would maybe point out would be, I feel like, I'm just gonna say it. if somebody is eating your ears, right? In ASMR, that is a thing, right? Ear eating.
Yeah, that is a thing, you know.
It is apparently not sexual. I'm not gonna come down on one side or the other of that. I kind of feel like that's in the eye of the beholder, right? And you can create stuff that is kind of walking close to a line of being sexual. And I don't think there's anything wrong, right? Just to be 100% clear, I don't think there's anything wrong with sexual ASMR. I just think that people that make it need to be aware of the fact that they might be creating more not friendly vibes with the people that listen to it, but more the people who might be more prone to like develop feelings for, or think they're developing feelings for, feelings of intimacy for the person that they're listening to. Sorry, go ahead. It seemed like you were about to.
I just want to, I can out myself now, and I can just agree with that. Like those content creators that you just talked about, I follow some of them, and I really do see this. I do see them doing that stuff that you just talked about. So you're right in that way.
Right, but to be clear, right, I don't think that there's a problem with that. And there are lots of people who are not comfortable with person-to-person relationships or person-to-person intimacy on that level. And having, this is actually like what they want, right? Like they don't want another person to be intimate with. What they want is a simulation of it that fulfills it enough for them without putting them in a situation where they have to be with another person, which is something that they don't want. So they might actually, that might be the ideal situation for them, is this parasocial relationship that you're talking, this imbalanced relationship between the content creator and the content consumer. So yeah, I'm not condemning it in any way, except for when people act surprised that these bonds form, because they do. They just do, and like you said, they form for people just doing vlogs or people who are just doing daily stuff. So if they form there, then they're definitely going to form if you put yourself regularly in a simulation position of being in bed with, say, the person that you're talking to. It's just going to happen, right? It's going to happen. And I think it's just something that people, or creators, not just ASMR creators, but just creators in general, when they start going into this, they should be aware that this is going to happen, right? And I just feel like it's something that shouldn't be, it shouldn't be mocked, right? That's basically it. It just shouldn't be mocked.
Okay. But like now you put like most of the responsibility on the content creator, but like we, or me as the viewer, don't I have a responsibility as well to like realize what's going on there and say, yeah, this person is obviously not a friend of mine, or is not actually being intimate with me, isn't there like a responsibility on the viewer itself?
ASMR often posits itself as an aid to mental health. Like I hear ASMR artists saying, I'm going to, ASMR is beneficial to your mental health. You can't both say that ASMR is there to help with someone's mental health and then say, but they have to be healthy enough to be able to draw this distinction. Because if you posit yourself as a form of therapy, then you have to, or at least my opinion is, if you posit yourself as a form of therapy, you have to accept that some of your audience, some percentage of your audience, is going to be in need of therapy in some way, or might not be able to draw these distinctive boundaries that you're talking about. Yes, I do think obviously that if you're watching ASMR, you should be able to say, okay, even if you do begin to develop these feelings or something that you don't really know how to put your finger on it, right? And you should be able to then say, okay, this is starting to get into an area where I'm uncomfortable, it's not, really right or feasible, or it's going to end in tears in some way, and you should be able to then draw back. But not everybody is going to be able to do that. So I guess what I'm saying is, if ASMR is therapy, it's going to appeal to people who need therapy, and therefore you can't put the onus on someone who is in need of help to draw these distinctions. The onus should be on the person. And, it's true. Like, a lot of times, like, I started making ASMR because I enjoyed ASMR. There was a time when I was amazed whenever I would speak to an ASMR creator who wasn't depressed or didn't have some major sort of mental health battle or PTSD or something, right? I remember there's a creator, she doesn't create anymore, but she was huge, Heather Feather. And I remember talking to her and being like, so what's your depression? Like, what made you so depressed? And she was like, what are you talking about? I'm not depressed. Like she was perfectly, her mental health was fine, or at least, in when she would talk to me, that's the way she presented it. But like, my point of view was at that time was like, oh, well, I started doing this because I just assumed that everybody who did this had something a little bit off about them, right? Like, because I felt I had something a little bit off about me, and that's why I started doing it and why I consumed it as well. It was filling something, a need that I had, and it was stopping. In my case, it was sort of staving off, like you just said, like anxiety, the sort of intrusive thoughts that come to you when you're falling asleep, but it can be other times too. But like we'd said before, right? That's when you're most vulnerable. So I guess I do feel like the responsibility lies with the content creator at least as much. Like, maybe it's both, right? I don't know where to draw the line, but I certainly don't think it's all on the viewer, and it's probably not all on the content creator either. Yeah, those are great questions. And yeah, it's not a problem that I feel like I run into very often. But I see it play out with a lot of people, and to a lot of different ends. But
Well, I'm glad I asked you, because like, you seem to be you are aware of this phenomenon, and I do agree with a lot of your points, and yeah, I'm just really glad I asked you and not some other vlog content creator.
Well,
That's
I mean,
maybe not.
I would be the world's biggest hypocrite, because I watched Ardra ASMR for a long time. She was one of my favorite content creators for a long time, and that was before I met her or knew who she was or knew very much about her. Certainly not enough to be able to say that I would like this person or anything like that. But so I experienced that same kind of thing, and we ended up, getting into a relationship. But that is very much like the exception that proves the rule. So yeah, I feel like I've been on both sides of it, and it's like playing with fire, I guess. This is what it is. But yeah. Oh man, you got me thinking about it though. I appreciate that. Does that pretty much answer what you were getting at? Is there any?
It was more of like an open-ended question, but yeah, it like reaffirmed what I was thinking about, and it was interesting hearing your opinion about it. I have to say, I didn't come up on it. I didn't come up with the idea of my own. Like, I think I saw a Tom Scott video about it where he talked about it, and that's why I realized this phenomenon, because I've only been on one side. I've probably most of the times only been a viewer myself. So,
but have you ever created content?
Yeah, I'm as I said, I work in IT. I always had a computer on me, and of course, then one day the thought of content creation came up and said, "Yeah, let's do some stuff." But mostly just throwing shit at a wall and see what sticks. None did.
None of the shit stuck. Is that-
Yeah,
you gotta keep throwing shit out there until something sticks.
Yeah, but I tried to see if I like it, if I'm happy with it, and if I do find enjoyment in it. And I found I can do it. I like doing it, but the time spent with it and learning it wasn't that fun that I would say, yeah, let's keep doing that. So
Yeah, if it's not for you, it's
I
not for you.
never thought-
Did you ever do live streams?
I did on a Twitch channel, but mostly gaming stuff. Just when I felt like it, never really tried to pursue anything. What I did wanted to try recently, because since I started working in an apprenticeship now, I finally got some funds to like splurge on myself. As I just said, this microphone. No one would buy a microphone this expensive to just like talk on Discord or
Right,
anything.
right.
Of course, I had something in mind while doing that. Of course, ASMR, like trying out things myself. That's where I'm at right now. I'm experimenting with it.
I mean, my opinion, like just like listening to you, I'm pretty sure you could do pretty well at it. So it would just be a matter of like sticking with it, right, and not being discouraged, right? Because I mean, for me, I got extremely lucky because I happened to live near an already established creator who was, generous with his time. And I was really into videography. So I was already sort of wanting to do that sort of thing. And having been in music prior, I kind of had some audio knowledge as well. So I was able to kind of bring all those things together. But, for a long time, I was just, I would have like 20 or 30 views on a video at most. And I'm trending down that way again. So, if I stick with it long enough, I get back down there.
Would you say you're trending down because like you started doing, let's say, this live stream Beyond the Double Red Doors, focusing or at least sparing some time for the live streams now?
No. Well, that may like secondarily be what I need to be doing is videos where my perceived forte is, which is apparently set building and cosplaying. Those are the videos of mine that tend to get the most views. They're a lot of work, and I don't, because I am doing this live streaming now, that takes a lot of that time that I would normally maybe dedicate to that. And I enjoy live streams. So it's maybe a little bit of that. And maybe I just needed like a little bit of a break. The videos that I post now are relatively low effort. I did a Tenet one, which I knew was not going to be a big hit because, Tenet, right? It's not Logan, right? It's not like it's not one of the Avengers or something. But I'm just doing the stuff that I enjoy, right? Because I don't rely on this for anything other than personal fulfillment. If I did, I would probably not be live streaming. Yeah, that's probably the truth of it.
Well, but one more topic I wanted to ask you about, because you are a content creator, you are live streaming. I like tech and all that stuff that surrounds it, like your setup, your microphone setup, or what I wanted to ask about was how do you ensure the backup of your videos? Like, do you just rely on YouTube? Do you have a backup of your videos, of your live streams, like locally somewhere that you know that it will never vanish even if YouTube goes down? What's your setup there?
I'm going to answer that as soon as I respond to, we live in a twilight world and there are no friends at dusk. Or no friends at night. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But hey, Caroline. So the question was, what was the question again? This my setup.
Are you using something like this, for example?
No. So I have, I really don't, because I shoot raw. I shoot all my videos raw. So the average video of mine, the base file is between 500 gigabytes and a terabyte for the video. So if I kept them all, it would be really, really, like I would really have to invest a lot into that.
But that even one video of yours, like 1 hour long, the lighthouse, for example, is it really almost 1 terabyte or 500 gigabytes?
An hour long video is about 600 gigabytes of raw.
Oh, jeez.
Because I shoot raw, right? So raw is like zero compression, reading straight from the sensor. Like this, no. Right now, this is actually recording as well as being streamed, right? So the recorded version of this will maybe be a couple of gigabytes, maybe 3 gigabytes, because it's not raw. But when I shoot videos that I upload and grade, I always shoot in raw. So those are, between 500 and 600 gigs for an hour. And then I will shoot, generally, even if my video is an hour long, I'll generally have closer to 2 hours worth of actual raw material shot. So generally what I do is I will keep the first render and I'll back those up onto, I just have, sort of regular drives that I back them up to 10 terabyte drives that I back them up onto. I don't have redundancies. I know I'm going to lose, I'm not even really sure why I'm keeping them. They're on YouTube and, maybe something will happen to YouTube like happened to MySpace, and everything on there will get lost. If that's the case, that's the case. I feel like if I tried to hang on to all of this stuff, that would become a full-time job almost in and of itself. And it would add another step of resistance to doing this, which what it comes down to is if it's not fun for me to do, I'm not going to do it. So if there's too much that I have to go through to archive stuff, then I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to end up not doing it. So I do keep backups of stuff, but it's not super bulletproof, right? And if one of these drives fails, I will lose what is on those backups. The Mac that I operate on has 4 terabytes of internal. The internal drive is 4 terabytes. That's what I ended up spending the majority of the money on, is to make sure that I could edit raw with internal hard drives instead of external hard drives. But as soon as I'm done editing a video, I dump it to an external drive.
I mean, interesting. I assumed that you have at least some kind of backup solution so your videos don't get lost. But if you don't particularly care if it happens, if it gets lost, in a way, it's a mindset.
Well, the tail on videos, except for a few, the view tail on videos tends to be pretty, for me, to be pretty low. So videos that have been out for over a year, they get a very small number of views. Now, obviously, as you build up a library of more and more videos, then those small numbers for one video end up to a fairly decent number for 100 videos, right? But yeah, if YouTube somehow failed and those videos were lost to the ether, I would not be able to re-upload them. Yeah. And I would be upset by it, but I don't think that it would be, I think if I had to worry about backing everything up like that, a lot of stuff just wouldn't get done. So I'm hoping that my drive doesn't fail at the same time that YouTube fails.
It will someday.
Right. Yes, of course. Yeah. But I don't know that I'll care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. You asked like some really, really good questions and pretty fascinating stuff to me. I don't, no, I think people were interested too. So that was really cool. Thank you for
Nice,
calling
nice.
in, and thank you for staying. It's got to be 4:30 there, right?
It is.
Is the
But
sun like about to come up? Or
not yet. I'll guess another hour or so, maybe
yeah.
2.
Lucky you. Well, you're on vacation, right?
I'm on vacation, so I can do whatever the hell I want.
Okay. How
But
long
I
are you
will
on
probably
vacation
go
for?
until Sunday
Okay.
officially.
So it's
So still some days to fix my sleep schedule.
yeah, you're gonna have to start working on it soon, though.
One all-nighter, and then it will fix.
You just reset. You stay up
Yeah,
all
basically.
night and then keep yourself up and then just crash really hard the next night.
Yes, that's how it usually works.
To be young.
I mean, if I would be like 10 years older, would be hard. I'm just 20 myself, so I can still do this.
You can do it for another decade, probably, maybe even a little more than that. So yeah. But cool. Thank you so much for calling, Lukimana. I really
Thank you for having
appreciate
me.
Yeah, anytime. This was great.
Well, if I find the time, I'll probably drop by again if I'm on vacation again or because of any other reason. Well,
I'm trying to do some stuff earlier, so maybe that will help fix the issue if I'm actually broadcasting earlier.
please do.
All right.
Well,
take care, and I
then-
hope that you're able to get some sleep.
I will after you end your stream.
All right, cool.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Good night.
That was great. That was fascinating. I mean, some of that stuff I've talked about before, but obviously opinions change, and it's been a while. And I think I was in a position at one point where I was like trying not to bite the hand that feeds or ruffle any feathers, and now I'm sort of in a position where I just don't care that much about doing that. Or whether I do that or not. So that's nice. That was nice. So yeah, I think we'll probably wrap up. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. Again, it doesn't get a look in. Something's wrong. There's a problem. I've tried to get to this so many times. But at this point, it's just in my... Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, sorry. But I'll tell you what, I'm really liking the red chair. Let me know what y'all think of the red chair. Notice it matches the kind of the logo, right? So get a little bit of that coordination going on. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who came by tonight, and thank you, Lukimana. Thank you, Q. Thank you, Lady Nerevar. Emmy B, congratulations on winning $100. Do I have I gotta do a, wait, no. This is where I don't have my, yay. Oh, no, there we go. Oh, just caught the tail end of it. Let's do it again. Congratulations, Emmy. I think she's since logged off, but yeah, that was a blast for me, and had some really fascinating conversations. This, honestly, like the last couple of streams, and I'm not, the people that I spoke to in the last couple of streams, fantastic. It's not really about that. It's really more about like my mindset. And like this stream for me, I felt like I was firing on as far as like me enjoying it. I was starting to worry that maybe the red chair makes my blue eyes pop. I think that's actually maybe the LUT. Because remember, where did my blue eyes go? I don't have blue eyes, I have green eyes. But this, especially if you turn up all the way, it makes them really quite blue. But there you get to kind of see behind the curtain. That's actually what I look closer to what I look like anyway. But this was great, and I enjoyed myself immensely. So thank you all very much. I do want to do something. I know I keep saying this, but I do want to do something in the Discord where we can do some kind of group playthrough. I really want to do some kind of short story writing thing. That would be great. That would be inspirational for me as well. I often need a kick in the rear. And oh, hey Nick, sorry I didn't see you earlier. Cole, I appreciate all of you being here. And what software do I use? Are you asking me that, PG? I'm not sure. What software I use is Ecamm if you're asking me, but I'm not sure if you're asking me or not. But yeah, let's try and get something going in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, please join the Discord. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, and we'll figure something out. And I hope to see you all again very soon. And thanks, because this made me feel good. Good night, everybody, and I'll talk to you all in the near future.